Marcus Chen had a ritual before every concert. He locked the door, unfolded something he never performed, and listened to what he'd buried. You think unfinished things die. Tonight, the missing half knocks. The dressing room was silent. Outside, 2,000 people waited. The Boston Symphony Orchestra was tuning. Marcus Chen stood alone. He reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out a folded piece of paper. Old, yellow, torn at the edge. Sheet music. The first two parts of a sonata for piano and violin. The title was written in faded pencil. For E. The final measures were missing. They had always been missing. Marcus stared at the empty ending like it could answer him. Tonight, someone would knock on his door. Someone with the other half. And everything Marcus had buried would rise. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing from you. 30 years earlier, Marcus Chen was 23, a scholarship student at the Boston Conservatory, the only son of Chinese immigrants. His father washed dishes at a restaurant in Chinatown. His mother sewed clothes in a basement factory. They didn't understand music, but they understood sacrifice. Marcus practiced 8 hours a day. He slept 4 hours a night. He wore the same jacket for 3 winters. He was going to be somebody. He was going to make their sacrifice mean something. Then he met Elena. It was September. Composition workshop. Professor Harrington paired students randomly. Marcus Chen, she announced. Elena Vasquez, she added. You'll write a sonata together, she instructed. Piano and violin, she specified. Due in December, she finished. Marcus looked across the room. Elena Vasquez. Everyone knew her name. Her father was Victor Vasquez, the conservatory's largest donor. His name was on the recital hall. His name was on the scholarship fund. His name was everywhere. Elena had dark hair that fell past her shoulders. She held her violin like it was part of her body. She didn't look at Marcus. She looked through him. Their first rehearsal was a disaster. Elena played too fast. Marcus played too slow. You're dragging, she snapped. You're rushing, he shot back. They argued for an hour. They wrote nothing. The second rehearsal was worse. Elena threw her bow on the floor. You don't listen, she snapped. You don't lead, Marcus shot back. They didn't speak for a week. Then Marcus saw her crying. It was midnight. Practice room B7. The door was slightly open. Elena sat on the floor. Her violin lay beside her. Her shoulders shook. Marcus should have walked away. He didn't. He knocked softly. Elena looked up. Her eyes were red. Her mascara had run. Go away, she whispered. Marcus stepped inside. He closed the door. He sat on the floor across from her. He didn't push. He didn't lecture. He just stayed. Minutes passed. Elena wiped her face. My father, she finally said. He wants me to quit music, she admitted. Marcus frowned. Why? He asked. Elena let out a bitter laugh. Because I'm engaged, she replied. To a man I've never loved, she added. A business arrangement, she explained. 2 families merging assets, she spat. Marcus felt something shift. He had seen Elena as a rich girl, a princess in a castle. Now he saw a prisoner. When? Marcus asked. June, Elena whispered. After graduation, she added. Then I become a wife, she said. A decoration, she breathed. A thing that smiles at parties, she finished. Marcus opened his bag. He pulled out blank staff paper. Then let's write something real, he said. Something that's yours, he added. Something no one can take away, he promised. Elena looked at the blank lines, then at Marcus. For the first time she really saw him. Not a scholarship student, not a poor kid from Chinatown, just someone who understood. They wrote the first notes that night, a melody that started soft, that built slowly, that ached. They called it for E. E for Elena, or E for everything, or E for the life they were building in secret. If you're enjoying this story, subscribe now. Rehearsals became rituals. Midnight in practice room B7. Door locked. Lights dim. Just piano and violin. Just Marcus and Elena. They wrote music that said what they couldn't speak. Phrases that meant, I'm falling. Passages that meant, don't let go. By October, the sonata had shape. By November, it had weight. So did something else. The first kiss happened in the rain. They were walking back from a late rehearsal. The sky opened without warning. They ran under the stone archway near the chapel. Elena laughed. Her hair was soaked. Her dress clung to her skin. Marcus couldn't breathe. She looked at him. He looked at her. Neither spoke. Rain fell like a curtain around them. Elena leaned in first. Her lips tasted like rain and rebellion. Marcus kissed her back like a man who knew this couldn't last. They pulled apart. Elena's eyes were bright. "What are we doing?" she whispered. "Something impossible," Marcus admitted. Elena smiled sadly. "Then let's do it anyway," she replied. They had weeks, stolen hours, locked doors, a love story written in sound. Professor Ruth Harrington watched them closely. She was 60 then, sharp eyes behind thick glasses. She had dedicated her life to music. No husband, no children, no regrets, she told herself. But she saw something in Marcus and Elena, something she had once felt. One night she followed them. She stood outside practice room B7. She listened through the door. She heard the sonata. She heard the whispers. She heard everything. The next morning she made a phone call. "Mr. Vasquez," she said, "I think you should know something about your daughter," she added. Victor Vasquez arrived at the conservatory that afternoon. He found Marcus alone in the practice room. The door slammed open. 2 men stood behind Victor. Big men, silent men. Victor was 60 then, silver hair, expensive suit, eyes like a shark. "You're the scholarship boy," Victor said. Not a question. Marcus stood slowly. "I'm Marcus Chen," he replied. Victor stepped closer. "Do you know who I am?" Victor demanded. "I know your name is on the building," Marcus answered. Victor's jaw tightened. "My daughter is engaged," Victor stated. "To a man who will give her a future," he added. "Not a pianist from Chinatown," he sneered. Marcus felt his hands shake. Not from fear, from anger. "She doesn't love him," Marcus said. Victor laughed. "Cold. Sharp. Love," he repeated. "Love doesn't pay for houses," he snapped. "Love doesn't secure legacies," he hissed. "Love is a fantasy for people who have nothing," he finished. He stepped closer, close enough that Marcus could smell his cologne. "If you see my daughter again," Victor whispered, "I will end you. I will have your scholarship revoked," he threatened. "I will make sure no orchestra in America hires you," he promised. "I will break your hands if I have to," he vowed. Marcus didn't blink. "You can't own her," Marcus said quietly. Victor smiled. "I don't need to own her," he replied. "I just need to own her future," he explained. "And you're not in it," he concluded. That night, Marcus went to Elena's dormitory. He threw pebbles at her window. She came down in her robe. They stood in the shadow of the oak tree. "Your father came to see me," Marcus admitted. Elena's face went pale. "What did he say?" she asked. Marcus told her everything. The threats, the warnings, the promises of destruction. Elena started crying. "I won't let him hurt you," she sobbed. "I'll talk to him," she insisted. "I'll make him understand," she pleaded. Marcus held her face in his hands. "He won't understand," Marcus whispered. "Men like him don't understand," he continued. "They only control," he finished. Elena shook her head. "Then we run," she begged. "Tonight," she urged. "We take the sonata and we disappear," she planned. Marcus wanted to say yes. Every part of him screamed yes. But he thought of his parents, the restaurant, the factory, the decades of sacrifice. If he ran, they would suffer. Victor would make sure of it. "I can't," Marcus whispered. Elena's eyes widened. "What?" she breathed. "I can't take you with me," Marcus said. His voice cracked. "If I do, he'll destroy everyone I love," he explained. "My parents," he continued. "He has that power," he admitted. "And I can't fight him," he confessed. "Not yet," he added. "Not like this," he finished. Elena's tears fell freely. "So you're leaving me," she whispered. "I'm protecting you," Marcus insisted. "By abandoning me?" Elena demanded. Marcus had no answer. Because she was right. They stood in silence. The oak tree creaked in the wind. Elena reached into her robe pocket. She pulled out the work they had written together. She held it between them like proof. "Take this," she said. No, Marcus refused. "Take it," Elena insisted. "Finish it someday," she pleaded. "When you're ready," she whispered. "When you're strong enough," she hoped. Marcus shook his head. "We wrote it together," he said. "It should stay together," he added. Elena's jaw tightened. She gripped the music. Then she tore it cleanly. The sound cut through the night. She handed Marcus the first half, still titled for E, the end still absent. She kept the second. "Now we each have a piece," Elena said. "Now we're both incomplete," she added. "When you're ready to finish it," she whispered, "find me." And we'll write the ending together, she promised. Marcus took the torn half. His hands trembled. I'll come back, he vowed. I'll become someone he can't touch, he swore. And then I'll find you, he finished. Elena kissed him one last time. Soft, desperate, final. Don't take too long, she breathed. Marcus walked away. He didn't look back. If he had, he wouldn't have been able to leave. He boarded a bus to New York that night. He carried something unfinished close to his heart. He carried a broken promise in his chest. He never returned to Boston. Not for 30 years. If you need to know what happens next, hit subscribe. Marcus didn't become a pianist in New York. He became a conductor. It took years. Assistant positions, guest conducting, competitions, politics. By 40, he was leading regional orchestras. By 50, he was the music director of the Boston Symphony. Time magazine called him the maestro from nowhere. They didn't know about Chinatown. They didn't know about the scholarship. They didn't know about Elena. He never married. Women came and went. Musicians, patrons, people who loved the idea of him. None of them stayed. None of them knew what he carried. Before every concert, he kept the same private routine. Lock the door. Breathe. Remember the missing ending. Step back into the world like nothing was broken. He told himself it was discipline. He told himself it was ambition. He told himself love was a luxury he couldn't afford. Carnegie Hall. He became one of the most celebrated conductors in America. 3 Grammy Awards. Vienna, Tokyo. He had everything, except closure, except peace. Then came the audition. Routine. It was a Tuesday. Second violin position. His assistant handled it. Dozens of candidates. Marcus usually didn't attend these. But something made him stay. Something he couldn't name. The candidates played. Forgettable. One by one. Competent. Then she walked in. 29 years old. Elena Vasquez. Dark hair that fell past her shoulders. She held her violin like it was part of her body. Marcus's breath caught. Her vibrato. For a moment, he thought time had folded backward. Then she played. Those small glissandos between notes. Marcus had heard them before. Her bowing. 30 years ago. In practice room B7. Isabella finished. The panel applauded politely. Isabella looked at him. Marcus couldn't move. Something flickered in her eyes. Curiosity, not recognition. Thank you, the assistant said. We'll be in touch, she added. Isabella nodded. She packed her violin. She started to leave. Wait, Marcus called. Isabella stopped. Could I speak with you? Marcus asked. Everyone looked at him. Privately, he added. The room went still. This was unusual. The maestro didn't meet candidates alone. Isabella hesitated, then nodded. They walked to his office. Marcus closed the door. His hands were shaking. What was her name, he asked. Isabella's face changed. Your mother, Marcus said carefully, softened. Elena, she whispered. Saddened. Elena Vasquez, she clarified. Marcus felt the floor disappear. She died 6 months ago, she added. Dead. Elena.
Gone.
And he never knew. It happened fast, she admitted. Cancer, Isabella continued. I'm sorry, he managed. She didn't tell anyone until the end, she explained. Marcus sat down heavily. I didn't know, he added. Isabella studied him. Did you know her? Isabella asked. She talked about you, Isabella said suddenly. Marcus couldn't answer. Not yet. Marcus looked up. Not by name, Isabella explained. What? He breathed. But she talked about a musician, she said. Someone from the conservatory, she added. Someone she wrote music with, she revealed. Isabella opened her bag and pulled out a slim leather folder. She said to find you, she continued. Before she died, she gave me this, Isabella admitted. Marcus opened it with trembling hands. She said to give you this, she finished. Inside was the missing half of what he had carried for decades. The same title 4E, the same yellowed, torn edge, the same faded pencil. Marcus's breath stopped. He reached into his pocket. He laid his half beside hers. They matched, 30 years apart. 2 halves, finally together. But the ending still wasn't there. The final measures were still missing. Subscribe now. Isabella stared at the reunited music. The truth is about to come out. You're him, she whispered. You're Marcus, she realized. You're the one she never forgot, she concluded. Marcus nodded. Words failed him. Isabella's eyes filled with tears. Isabella pulled out an envelope. She made me promise, Isabella said. Promise what? Marcus asked. Sealed. Old. Elena's handwriting on the front. She said only you could read it, she added. She wrote this 3 days before she died, Isabella explained. Marcus took the envelope. His name stared back at him. No last name, just Marcus. No title. He opened it slowly. Just the name she used to whisper in practice. Room B7. He told himself it was discipline. He told himself it was ambition. He told himself love was a luxury he couldn't afford. He became one of the most celebrated conductors in America. 3 Grammy Awards, Carnegie Hall, Vienna, Tokyo. He had everything, except peace, except closure. Then came the audition. It was a Tuesday. Second violin position. Routine. Dozens of candidates. Marcus usually didn't attend these. His assistant handled it. But something made him stay. Something he couldn't name. The candidates played, one by one. Competent. Forgettable. Then she walked in. Elena Vasquez, 29 years old. Dark hair that fell past her shoulders. She held her violin like it was part of her body. Marcus's breath caught. For a moment, he thought time had folded backward. Then she played. Her vibrato, her bowing, those small glissandos between notes. Marcus had heard them before, 30 years ago. In practice room B7. Isabella finished. The panel applauded politely. Marcus couldn't move. Isabella looked at him. Something flickered in her eyes. Not recognition, curiosity. Thank you, the assistant said. We'll be in touch, she added. Isabella nodded. She packed her violin. She started to leave. Wait, Marcus called. Everyone looked at him. Isabella stopped. Could I speak with you? Marcus asked. Privately, he added. The room went still. This was unusual. The maestro didn't meet candidates alone. Isabella hesitated, then nodded. They walked to his office. Marcus closed the door. His hands were shaking. Your mother, Marcus said carefully. What was her name, he asked. Isabella's face changed, softened, saddened. Elena, she whispered. Elena Vasquez, she clarified. She died 6 months ago, she added. Marcus felt the floor disappear. Elena, dead.
Gone.
And he never knew. Cancer, Isabella continued. It happened fast, she admitted. She didn't tell anyone until the end, she explained. Marcus sat down heavily. I'm sorry, he managed. I didn't know, he added. Isabella studied him. Did you know her? Isabella asked. Marcus couldn't answer. Not yet. She talked about you, Isabella said suddenly. Marcus looked up. What? He breathed. Not by name, Isabella explained. But she talked about a musician, she said. Someone from the conservatory, she added. Someone she wrote music with, she revealed. Isabella opened her bag and pulled out a slim leather folder. Before she died, she gave me this, Isabella admitted. She said to find you. She continued. She said to give you this. She finished. Marcus opened it with trembling hands. Inside was the missing half of what he had carried for decades. The same yellowed, torn edge. The same faded pencil. The same title 4E. Marcus's breath stopped. He reached into his pocket. He laid his half beside hers. They matched. 2 halves, 30 years apart. Finally together. But the ending still wasn't there. The final measures were still missing. Subscribe now. The truth is about to come out. Isabella stared at the reunited music. You're him, she whispered. You're Marcus, she realized. You're the one she never forgot, she concluded. Marcus nodded. Words failed him. Isabella's eyes filled with tears. She made me promise, Isabella said. Promise what? Marcus asked. Isabella pulled out an envelope. Old. Sealed. Elena's handwriting on the front. She wrote this 3 days before she died, Isabella explained. She said only you could read it, she added. Marcus took the envelope. His name stared back at him. Just Marcus. No last name, no title. Just the name she used to whisper in practice. Room B7. He opened it slowly. My dearest Marcus, if you're reading this, I'm already gone. I waited 30 years for you to come back. You never did. I don't blame you. I know why you left. I know what my father threatened. I know you were protecting everyone but yourself. But there's something you need to know. Something I should have told you 30 years ago. Something I've hidden from everyone. Marcus, we have a daughter. Her name is Isabella. She has your eyes, your hands, your gift. I never told you because I was afraid. Afraid my father would destroy her too. Afraid you would come back and he would hurt you. afraid of everything. I raised her alone. I told everyone she was Thomas's daughter. Thomas was the man my father made me marry. He died 5 years ago. He never knew the truth. Isabella doesn't know either. But she deserves to know. She deserves a father. And you deserve to know you have a daughter. Please, Marcus, finish what we started. Play it with her. Give her what I couldn't give you. A future, forever yours. Elena. The letter slipped from Marcus's hands. He looked at Isabella. Her eyes, his eyes. Her hands, his hands. Her gift, his gift. She said something else. Isabella whispered. Before she died, she continued. She said, "Tell him I never stopped waiting," she revealed. And she said, "He's your father," she finished. Isabella's voice broke. "What does that mean?" she demanded. "Thomas was my father," she insisted. "I have his name," she said. "I went to his funeral," she added. Marcus shook his head slowly. "But I'm your father," he confessed. "Thomas raised you," Marcus admitted. Isabella stepped back. "Elena was pregnant when I left," he explained. "Yes," Marcus whispered. "No," she breathed. "I didn't know," he insisted. Isabella's face twisted. "She never told me," he swore. Pain, anger, confusion. "You left her," Isabella accused. "You abandoned her," she snapped. "You disappeared for 30 years," she shouted. She was right. Marcus had no defense. "And now you tell me you're my father," she demanded. "I was afraid," Marcus admitted. "I thought I was protecting her," he explained. "I was young," he continued. "I don't want your excuses," she hissed. "I was wrong," he concluded. Isabella grabbed her violin case. "I don't want you," she finished. The door slammed. She stormed out. Marcus sat alone. He stared at the truth Elena had left behind, not on paper, in a person, for the first time in 30 years. He wept. He wept for Elena. He wept for the ending they never wrote. He wept for Isabella, to find Victor Vasquez. The next morning, Marcus drove to Vermont, not to find Isabella. He lived in a care facility in Burlington. Victor was 83 now. Early dementia, the nurses said. Good days and bad days. Marcus found him in the garden, sitting in a wheelchair, staring at birds. The shark eyes had gone cloudy. The expensive suits were gone. Just an old man in a cardigan. Marcus sat across from him. Victor didn't look up. "Mr. Vasquez," Marcus said. Victor kept watching the birds. "Mr. Vasquez," Marcus repeated. "It's Marcus Chen," he added. Something flickered. Victor turned slowly. The cloudy eyes focused. Just for a moment. "The pianist," Victor murmured. "The boy from Chinatown," he remembered. "You came back," he observed. Marcus nodded. 30 years late, Marcus admitted. Victor's hands trembled. "Is Elena with you?" Victor asked. "She passed away 6 months ago," he explained. "Elena is gone," Marcus said gently. Marcus felt his heart crack. For a moment he was lucid. Victor's face collapsed, completely present, completely devastated. "My daughter," Victor sobbed. "My little girl," he whimpered. Marcus watched him cry. He had imagined justice. He had imagined this confrontation for decades. There was no victory here, and a ghost between them, just two broken men. "You threatened me," he continued. "You took her from me," Marcus said quietly. "You forced her to marry someone else," he added. "You stole 30 years from us," he finished, tears streaming. Victor looked at him. "I was protecting her," Victor whispered. "From what?" Marcus demanded. "From your world," Victor answered. "From struggle," he added. "From poverty," he continued. "From everything I escaped," he confessed. Marcus froze. Victor's eyes grew distant. "What do you mean, escaped?" Marcus asked. "I worked in factories," he revealed. "I came to America with nothing," Victor admitted. "I cleaned toilets," he continued. Marcus stared at him. "I built everything from dirt," he explained. "I swore my children would never suffer like I did," he finished. Victor had been an immigrant too, just like Marcus's parents. Just like Marcus. "To protect her from the life you lived," he continued. "You destroyed your daughter's happiness," Marcus said. "But you gave her a different kind of suffering," he concluded. Victor nodded slowly. Lucidity was fading, but one more truth surfaced. "Isabella," Victor said, as if saying it hurt. Marcus leaned forward. "The girl," Victor murmured. "She has your eyes," he observed. "But I said nothing," he admitted. "I knew the moment I saw her," he confessed. "Because saying something meant admitting I was wrong," he explained. His face crumpled. "I was wrong." he sobbed. I was so wrong, he repeated. Marcus felt no triumph, only exhaustion. Marcus stood. She wanted me to fix it, Marcus said. Only grief. Elena, he clarified. She wanted me to give her what you stole, he added. Victor lifted his shaking hand. That week, Marcus found Professor Harrington. Then do it, Victor whispered. Give them an ending, he begged. Another chain of fear. Elena died, Marcus said. Ruth's face crumpled. I heard, she sobbed. I wanted to reach out, she admitted. I couldn't find the words, she explained. There are no words, Marcus replied. She had a daughter, Marcus said. He took a breath. Ruth covered her mouth. My daughter, he added. I didn't know until days ago, he admitted. Oh God, she whispered. What have I done? She breathed. Marcus moved toward the door. But you can help me tell the truth, he added. Ruth looked up. You can't undo it, Marcus said. Anything, she pleaded. She won't talk to me, Marcus said. She blames me, he continued. I need her to hear the whole truth, he finished. Rightfully, he admitted. Ruth nodded. I'll tell her everything, she promised. Marcus paused at the threshold. One more thing, Marcus said. Ruth looked at him. Ruth broke down. I forgive you, Marcus offered. I know, Marcus replied. But carrying hatred is too heavy, he added. You shouldn't, she sobbed. Ruth found Isabella at a coffee shop near Lincoln Center. He left her crying in her apartment. She sat across from her. The jealousy, the phone call. She told her everything. The fear, the damage. Isabella listened in silence. When Ruth finished, Isabella stared at her coffee. So he didn't just leave, Isabella whispered. He was pushed, she realized. Ruth nodded. Your mother was going to run with him, Ruth said. He refused, she continued. To protect his family, she explained. To protect her, she added. He gave up his own happiness, she admitted. Isabella's eyes filled. Ruth leaned in. For everyone but himself, she finished. Your mother waited, Ruth whispered. And he carried the weight of that every day, she continued. Neither of them got what they deserved, she concluded. Then say better things now, Ruth replied. I said terrible things to him, Isabella admitted. Isabella swallowed hard. That evening, Isabella appeared at Marcus's apartment. She stood in the doorway. Marcus stood in the hall. Neither spoke at first. It's still unfinished, she said. Finally, Isabella took a step forward. Marcus nodded. I know, he replied. She wanted us to finish it, Isabella continued. I don't know how to be your father, Marcus admitted. Together, she added. Marcus's throat tightened. I don't know how to be your daughter, Isabella said. But maybe we can learn, Isabella offered. They stood there, fragile and honest. Marcus stepped aside. They sat at the piano. Isabella walked in. They didn't talk about the past. They started where the music had broken. They wrote forward, piano and violin, father and daughter, strangers becoming family, one measure at a time. The ending took weeks. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. It wasn't pretty. On the final page, Marcus wrote the dedication in his mind before he ever wrote it anywhere.